Hi, this is Jennifer Cambridge. I am here with a challenge with the rest of the ladies. We are using Cork. I'm a little behind everybody getting stuff out. This paper is from an old Scraptastic kit. Here's a sketch that I used from Victoria Marie's Facebook group. I used a cork sheet and a whole bunch of circle punches, and I punched these photos out, and the sizes range from 3 inches down to 1 inch. These are pictures of my boys. They're messing around. They got a little bit bored while they waited for their sister to do her school shopping, and so they were looking at themselves in the mirror and playing around. These are a couple of stamp sets from Close to My Heart. This one is the month of August, and it has that little bust there. And it says back to school. So that's one that I want to use. And then this one is called Connections, and it's just a bunch of circles and swirls. I am using archival ink, which I don't use very often, but I wanted to just stamp some designs, circles, and different patterns onto the cork, and I clean my stamps between each of the ones that I use, so that it doesn't stain them too badly. That one there says A+, and that came off of the August stamp set. The rest of these, I believe they're either flowers or circles off of the Connections. And I really like how the ink turned out on these. I was a little bit worried that maybe the images wouldn't be complete, but they looked pretty good. These are all 1 inch cork pieces. Here I've taken the bus off of the August set and stamped it onto the cork, and I'm just going to cut it out. I wasn't sure if I had a stamp that would cut it exactly. Here I decide I'm going to lay out the circles similar to that sketch. Obviously my circles are a lot bigger than the sketch, but I didn't want teeny tiny pictures going across, and I had several pictures I wanted to use, so this is how I solved that problem. And I wanted the smallest one to be there at the top, so it kind of looked like they're fading and getting smaller. But I did leave the smaller one down there at the bottom too. I flipped my mat over, and it has a soft side, and it's really good for stamping. So I do this, I stamp it off when the stamps are unused. And it just makes for a better image. Here, because I have my photos placed where I know I want them, I can move them, stamp underneath them, and put the photo back. And I'm just going to use various stamps and try to make it look random. You guys know that I have a problem with looking random. I'm getting better, but I guess I still have to have things in order. I decide that I'm going to do a few stamped off the edge, so I just used a scrap paper to catch the extra ink. My boys, they were really goofy this day. They were kind of teasing each other, dancing in front of the mirror, and you would think that there was nobody around, but no, it was pretty busy. There were several people around. They aren't very shy. Here I'm making little clusters with the tiny ones just because one seemed a little weird. Two, it kind of looked like there were hands reaching up around the photo, so I went with 3 and it looked good. And of course, if I do 3 in one spot, then I've got to do the same in other places. I have switched from the StazOn ink to my black close to my heart ink. I'm stamping on paper, and so there's not going to be any kind of mixed media, so I knew that this would be fine. And it does work really well. Here I go ahead and lay out the stamped cork pieces, and I'm just trying to fill in gaps that look like they could use a little extra circle. And since this is back to school shopping, then that is why I used the school themed stamps. Here I am sticking each of the photos down into their place, just trying to make it look the best with the stuff behind it. And I don't want to do anything over on the left side of the page towards the top. But I do have a cluster down the bottom left-hand side. And I struggled getting this layout done. I've waited a long time to do the voiceover. The reason that I did is that I struggled with a title. I didn't know where to put it, didn't know what to call it. I mean, I guess there's a few different options for a title, but in the end, I just decided to let the layout speak for itself and went with no title, which I'm sure is fine. And there's all the pieces put out. This is where I put my journaling. I used the biggest circle, drew lines across it, of course using my ruler, and then added my journaling. And I'm just explaining how they're being hams and goofing around in front of the mirror. So of course I had to pull out my camera and snap a few pictures. I decided to outline my layout, and I'm going to do a double line on each of the sides. Okay, oh, that's right, and I took my sparkle pen and added a line on top, and this is where I decided to add the little cluster at the bottom left hand side. So I add more cork pieces and more stamped images just to, I guess, make that side not look so lonely. These are epoxy bubbles in blue and green from Close to My Heart. You know, just in case there weren't enough circles, I added a few more. And of course I like shiny stuff and bling. So these, they're smooth and they're pretty. So why not? And I did add a few blue and a few green. Just kind of scattered them wherever there was an open space. And that is the end of the layout. Now I have photos that will follow. So be sure to check out Ronnie Sue Scrapper, Crafty Meggie, and Paper KK and see how their layouts turn out with the cork. They've already had theirs out a week now, so have fun. Talk to you later. Bye.